Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Ellsworth and we are now in chapter 4 and it's talking about exponents. And so this is lesson 4-1 and so we'll go ahead and get started. Maybe, we'll see. Yeah. Okay, so with exponent it tells you how many times a number has been used, how many times it's been multiplied, and we call that a factor. And so when you look at an exponent, specifically at the 5 here, that is the base. And that's the one that we're multiplying. And I don't like to use the word power for that. Okay, power is talking about the whole thing, but I don't want you to go and accidentally think of the base as being the power. Quite often students will think of the exponents being which power is it raised to. Okay, and so so the exponent though is the one that is elevated on this example. So if you have something raised to the first power, that just means it's just itself. If you have something that's raised to the second power, that means it's times itself. Okay, we also call this squared. And that is a term that you need to be ready to use. Okay, so it is squared. Okay, if it is raised to the third power, then we also call it cubed. And if it is raised to the third power, that means you've got 1, 2, 3 of these guys multiplied together. And if it's raised to the fourth power, there are no more special words like that. Anyway, so the fourth power is the fourth. It's raised to the fourth. So it's going to be 4 of these bases multiplied, and so on. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we're going to be practicing. So in each one of these examples here, in example number 1, they're talking about writing it using exponents. So in this case, we've got the same base here, which is a -8. Okay, and it is raised to 1, 2, 3. Raised to the third power, or else it's -8 cubed. Okay, here we've got now a large phrase inside of there. And so we've got, they're identical, so there's actually 4 of them. So we'll take the same exact base, k plus 2, and we're going to raise them to the fourth power. Okay, this one's got a few different things in here. It's got some r's, and it's got some s's, and it has also a 5. So this is really 5 to the first power. Since they wanted exponents, 5 to the first power, I think I would be fine with nothing written there on that one. And then you're going to have r raised to the 1, 2, second power, or else squared. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, s to the fourth power. Okay, not so bad. So why don't you pause the video here and go and try these 4 real quick. Pause it. Okay, so 1/2 is your base, and you're going to raise it 1, 2, 3, 3 times. Okay, c minus d is your base, and you're going to raise it 2 times, so it's going to be squared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's x raised to the 5th power. And this is a little bit different because it's more like this example here. We've got 9 times f to the 4th power. You don't write the times in between them. And then we've got g to the 1st power, or just g. Now this could have been read also a different way too, but your book likes this. But did you notice that this is also 3 squared? Just a neat little tidbit there that's just fun to look at. Okay, but again, our book would like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the next ones. Notice that this one it's got the word evaluate in it. So that means that we need to do some calculation. Let's go ahead and read this. The playing area for a beach volleyball includes the playing court and the free zone. Evaluate each expression to find the area of the playing court and the free zone. Okay, here's the expression that they're talking about here. We'll figure it out here. The playing court is a rectangle with an area of 7 to the 7th power square meters. Oh, we're going to have a unit in this answer because it's also a word problem. So this is really going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so they want us to figure out how many square meters that is. Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 more is 8, times 2 more is 16, I'm just doubling it, times 2 more is 32, times 2 more is 64, and then times 2 more is going to be 128. So this is 128 square meters. You could go ahead and write out SQ and then M for meters if you want like that, but that really isn't the way to write it. Write it with an exponent, especially since this is the exponent unit. Okay, so it's got square meters. I know it says square meters, but still the square does not go on the 128 with a square and a meter like this, because that means that you're squaring that guy. No, 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 no. You're squaring this guy. Okay, so make sure that you write that out correctly. Okay, the area of the free zone is going to be 2 times 2, 3 times 3, and then times 5. So it's 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. Oh dear. Okay. So you can, since these are all multiplication, you can actually even go and group these any way that you want to. But 2 times 2 is 4. Times 3 more is going to be 12. Times 3 more is going to be 36. And times 5, I think that's 180. I'll double check that. I'll be right. Okay, that's perfect. It is 180 square meters. And how do you write square meters again? Lots of people like to pronounce this as meters squared. It's not how it's pronounced, but I see why they like to do that, because everybody likes to read left to right. Okay, now the third example is not that big of a deal either. If you look at this, you've got x squared plus y cubed. Okay, and then now you need to evaluate it by using 6 squared here, and then a negative 2 cubed. Okay, so this is the same thing as a negative 2 times a negative 2. I better put those parentheses in there. Times a negative 2, right? So if I look at this, I've got 3 negatives. 3 negatives makes my number's going to be negative. And then 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 more is going to be 8. So that whole value there is going to be a negative 8 right in here. Or minus 8. I taught you guys to do this better with plus and negative 8. Okay, so that's fine. Now here they've got this little bit of watch out here. So if it's negative 3 squared, okay, it's not the same thing as negative 3 squared. The negative 3 here is going to be, you know, it's going to be two negatives multiplied, right? So it's going to be a positive answer. Okay, and if you have this, then you're just squaring the 3. So it's just like a negative, then is outside the parentheses there, or else you can say times negative 1. Anyway, so you're going to end up getting a negative answer when it doesn't have those parentheses around there, including that negative with that guy. Okay, I'd like you to evaluate this one right here, so go ahead and pause it and then we'll do it together. Okay, we've got 10 plus b squared, and b is a negative 2. Okay, and we're going to square it. So 10 plus, and then negative 2 times negative 2, because we're squaring it, negative 2 times negative 2, that's going to just be 4. So our answer here is going to be 14. Now if you're fine with that, you can go ahead and quit the video here. If you want to practice one more, we'll go ahead and do 3c. So go ahead and pause it and write this down, 2 minus c squared, and put in 3/4 in there. This would be great practice. And I'll pause it. Okay. Okay, so here's this, how it's set up. So it's 2 minus c squared, which is 3/4, and we got to square that. So this portion only will be the only portion that is squared. Okay, and so I'm showing my thinking there. 3/4 times 3/4, right, because it's squared. And then, so you've got 2 and 9/16, and then just go ahead and subtract it. So it's 1 and 7/16. So if you did that extra one, good for you. I will see you tomorrow.